Hello people of the internet, I'm still not an Englishman, still making YouTube videos and still hoping at least some of it makes sense. And how do you like my new suit? I thought I'd wear something, better looking for a video. Well, I didn't really, it's just my girlfriend really likes it, and you come to a point in the relationship when you kind of want to, do good things to one another and please one another, and I know she's watching these videos. And I thought to myself, maybe she doesn't really care about film and about the content of these videos much, but she might, at least enjoy watching it. So that's it. Anyway, this video was supposed to be in 3 parts, and then none of it kind of made sense. So I made one video, and this is this video, but you don't care about this, so let's just get on with it. I've been a tech buff since I can remember. I couldn't wait for a new phone to come out, or I don't know, for a new iPad, for a new computer, new lens, new cameras. I was obsessed by, checking the specs and how cool it will be and how cool it would be to have one. And I usually got stuck in, moments where I would get an idea and I would start realizing the thing, but then I thought to myself, but if I got this new thing, this would just be so much better, and it would actually, make the whole thing amazing. So eventually I wouldn't finish majority of my things just because I would get stuck on the idea that with getting something new, like new piece of equipment, would just bring this to a whole nother level. And then every now and then it would happen that I actually got this new thing and I was excited for a day or 2 or maybe even 3, and then the excitement kind of, got away. And also because I was so stuck on this one single detail, and I kind of wouldn't let my mind finish the whole idea, the whole concept, because I let myself think that, but when I get this new thing, everything will just crystallize and, and the idea will just finish by itself, which, surprise, surprise, it never does. And now I don't know if it's because I've grown a bit older or because I've just realized that, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm not really excited with new technology anymore. Even when I bought this lens that I'm using currently, I just, let it roll around for a few days and then I put it on and it's like, okay, it works, it looks cool, let's do stuff with it. And so I came up with a formula, or a philosophy if you want, about buying new stuff. Unless it happened to you a couple of times that you came to a moment where you said to yourself, man, I really, really wish that I had this new thing right now, because it would really make stuff so much better and easier or cheaper or whatever, then don't buy it. And even if you do come to those moments, maybe try renting it first, because renting today is so cheap, and you might also realize that you may need those things just on certain occasions and not every time, so you don't need really to splash your money on it just for the sake of having it. Unless you're really loaded, then go ahead, have fun and enjoy in new technology. I mean, think about it. Let's say a new lens, and good lenses start, like, price-wise at somehow, let's say 500 quid and then on, and if you want to buy a good zoom lens, they start around 1,000 and then it just goes, to unlimited. And for £1,000 you get a really good 1-week vacation somewhere. Or if you're not into vacationing, for £1,000 you can put together a pretty decent short film. I mean, it's probably not gonna win Oscars, but you're gonna learn a lot from it. And whenever you come to a point where you need to decide whether you want to spend your money on something that's material or something that will give you experience, always go for experience. And now to get to the point of this video, why I bought the best lens in the world. And it's not clickbait, and you'll see why. So a while ago, I think it was a year ago, doesn't matter, I bought a set of Samyang Cine lenses. So it was a kit of 3 lenses, and they're amazing. The focus is sharp, they are extremely low light, the footage is just creamy, it's like butter, it's perfect. The aperture is declicked, everything about those lenses is perfect. But then what happened is, when I got jobs and I worked for different clients, majority of jobs I would just use their equipment, so I had this set of lenses in a suitcase just laying at home. And whenever I would do stuff for myself, which is mainly either vlogging or run and gun style of shooting, I would also leave them at home, because you don't want to be running around and just changing prime lenses and I need the 35 now, I need an 85 or whatever. You just bump a zoom lens and you go. So eventually I decided to sell the lens, and so I sold them, and I bought a decent zoom lens, which is the one that I'm using right now. And I guess what I want to say is that what's the best in the market at any given moment might not be the best for you. And for me, for my style of shooting, the best thing I need really is a zoom lens that's sharp, that can focus really good, and has decent stabilization, and it's low light. And that's what I have. And for me, that's the best lens in the world. And if I ever manage to come up with a story where this lens just won't cut it and wouldn't deliver it properly, well, then I'll start thinking forward. But until that does it. Which brings me to the last part of this video, the story. A while ago, a pretty successful YouTuber said in one of his videos that yes, story is king, but unless it looks really good, no one will care about your story. And while I really respect this guy and I think he's really good at what he does, I can't go with this one. I just can't. Because maybe your story calls for shitty footage, and at that moment, shitty footage is the best footage possible. I don't know if you've seen 28 Days Later, if you haven't watched it, and the whole film was shot on DV camcorders. This was a while back, but they made a conscious decision that, okay, we want to shoot this because we want this gritty handheld look of it, because it's, yes, it does include zombies, but it's a good one. Watch it. And I watched the film, you know, from beginning to end, and at no one moment I went, this just looks terrible, I don't want to watch it, what's going on here? It's like, you know, it's not crystal clear, the focus doesn't really work properly, the colors are just bad. No, because it went with the story and it just carried the story perfectly. But it happens just so often that I watch a video on YouTube and the footage is flawless, everything works, the color grading is spot on, the focus is there. I mean, it's amazing, but I can't watch it more than 30 seconds because there's no content to it, there's no story, there's nothing that would interest me to watch the whole thing from beginning to end. I remember 12 years ago, I used to work for a TV station, I was a video editor, and a pretty unsettling and very important world event happened, and it just so happened that someone shot it on a phone, and 12 years ago was 2006, and if you Google it, what phones looked at that time and what kind of cameras they had, you'll see it wasn't a very pretty sight. So that footage, you know, went worldwide, and every single TV station got it. When you get really bad footage and you put it on TV, so you rescale it, it gets even worse. It just starts falling apart. And I remember the pixels were literally the size of thumbs, and you could barely resemble what's going on in the video, but every single station just kept repeating it again and again and again, and everyone showed it, and people just kept watching it again and again because they were interested in the content. They wanted to see it, they knew the story, and they wanted to see how it happened and what happened. And I know this is a very extreme case, but it just goes to show you that it's not really important how you show it, but just what you show. And if people are interested if people want to see the content, you will get them. And so I guess instead of spending loads of money on new lenses and cameras and computers and what have you, maybe go and buy yourself a suitcase of books you really enjoy and go for a week of vacation and just read. That's it, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to, don't subscribe if you don't want to. It's a free country, I mean, it's a free world. I don't know which country you're at, but I guess if they let YouTube, it's a pretty free country. You know, just do whatever you want. Maybe share it if you think it makes sense. You know, if you suddenly realize, yeah, I shouldn't spend so much money on that, and maybe I have friends who aren't making so much money, so you actually with sharing this video you will make a lot of people's lives better. How about that? Huh? You didn't think about that when you woke up this morning. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next week, I guess, and you know, keep writing the stories. Thanks.